Have you ever wondered if there's more to JFK's assassination than meets the eye? Could the CIA, America's premier spy agency, have played a role in this tragic event? Imagine the year, 1963. The world was a different place, a place filled with hope, dreams, and of course, secrets. JFK, the charismatic leader of the free world, was cut down in his prime in Dallas, Texas. A single goon man, Lee Harvey Oswald, was named the culprit. Yet, as decades passed, the narrative of a lone wolf killer has been scrutinized, challenged, and dissected. The Warren Commission, tasked with investigating JFK's assassination, concluded Oswald acted alone. But did he? The question has lingered, fueling countless conspiracy theories. Among these, one has continued to captivate, to intrigue, and to provoke. The theory that the CIA, America's own intelligence agency, was involved in JFK's assassination. Why the CIA, you might ask? Well, the agency had motive, means, and opportunity. JFK had made enemies within the agency. His approach to foreign policy, particularly his handling of the Bay of Pigs invasion, had ruffled feathers. Furthermore, the CIA had the resources and the expertise to carry out such an operation, if it had wanted to. This theory is not new. It's been out there, lurking in the shadows, whispered in hushed tones by those who dare to question the official narrative. Yet, it has gained traction over the years, propelled by declassified documents, delayed releases, and a culture of mistrust. But is there any truth to it? Can we find concrete evidence that ties the CIA to JFK's assassination? Or is this just another conspiracy theory, destined to be debunked and dismissed? Dive deep with us as we unravel the threads of this intricate conspiracy theory. Let's embark on this journey together, peeling back the layers of secrecy to seek the truth hidden in the shadows of history. To understand the CIA's potential role in JFK's assassination, we first need to explore the nature of the agency itself. Born out of the ashes of World War II, the Central Intelligence Agency was created with a singular purpose: to gather and analyze information about foreign governments, corporations, individuals, and to advise public policy makers. But the CIA is not just a passive gatherer of intelligence. From its inception, it has been actively involved in covert operations around the globe. From overthrowing governments in Iran and Guatemala in the 1950s, to its involvement in the Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba, the CIA's history is steeped in secrecy and intrigue. This reputation for shadowy operations isn't just confined to foreign soil. On home turf, the agency has been accused of numerous transgressions against the very citizens it was sworn to protect. From illegal surveillance programs to testing mind-controlled drugs on unwitting subjects, the CIA's domestic activities have often blurred the lines between national security and individual freedoms. But what does all of this have to do with JFK's assassination? Well, it's simple. If the CIA could orchestrate coups, engage in illicit activities, and keep all of it under wraps, what's stopping them from being involved in a presidential assassination? Consider this. JFK had made it clear that he intended to dismantle the CIA following the botched Bay of Pigs operation. This certainly didn't endear him to the powers that be within the agency. Furthermore, the CIA had the resources, the manpower, and most importantly, the motive to carry out such an act. But a motive is not enough. Concrete evidence is needed to prove such a claim. And while many documents pertaining to JFK's assassination remain classified, the ones that have been released do raise some interesting questions about the CIA's possible involvement. As we delve into the shadows, the likelihood of the CIA's involvement becomes more and more plausible. Stay tuned as we unveil the evidence and dive deeper into this complex web of secrecy and intrigue. Let's examine the evidence that points to the CIA's potential involvement in JFK's assassination. First, we have the matter of withheld documents. President John F. Kennedy's assassination occurred in 1963, yet here we are, over 60 years later, and we still don't have access to all the related documents. The White House announced a delay in the release of these long classified documents, citing the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. But could there be more to this delay than meets the eye? Is it possible that these unreleased documents contain information implicating the CIA in JFK's killing? Next, we delve into the CIA's surveillance of Lee Harvey Oswald. It's a known fact that Oswald was under the watchful eye of the agency long before the assassination. But what was their motive? Was it merely routine surveillance of a potential threat, or was there a deeper, more sinister reason behind it? Could they have been grooming Oswald to be the fall guy for their operation? Then there are the connections between agency personnel and key figures in the assassination. Jack Ruby, the man who shot Oswald just 2 days after JFK's assassination, had known links to organized crime. But could there also have been ties to the intelligence community? And what about the Warren Commission, the body that confirmed Oswald as the lone gunman? It's worth noting that Allen Dulles, the former director of the CIA, was a member of this commission. Is it a mere coincidence or a carefully orchestrated plan? Lastly, the persistence of conspiracy theories is fueled by the unreleased government files, the culture of mistrust, and the unanswered questions surrounding JFK's assassination have led many to believe that the official narrative is not the whole truth. Could the CIA be responsible for sowing this doubt, or are they themselves part of the conspiracy? The evidence paints a troubling picture, but we're only scratching the surface. Despite the compelling evidence, there are still numerous unanswered questions that fuel this conspiracy theory. To start with, the Warren Commission, the official investigation into JFK's assassination, concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald was the sole shooter, but they never figured out his motive. Why would Oswald, a man with no clear motives and a murky past, assassinate the president? And why was he then killed by Jack Ruby just 2 days later? These questions remain unanswered, and their shadows loom large over the official narrative. Then we have the issue of the long classified documents related to JFK's assassination. Despite a ruling in 1992 mandating the eventual public release of these documents, over 30 years later we are still waiting for some of them. The reason? National security. But what could possibly be so damaging in these documents that their release is considered a threat to national security? Could it be evidence of CIA involvement? The delay in the release of these documents has done nothing but fuel the conspiracy theories. Instead of providing answers, it has only raised more questions. What are they hiding? Why the continuous postponing? Is it merely due to pandemic-related challenges? Or is there more to the story? Finally, there's the question of eyewitnesses. Several people who were present during the assassination are still alive, and some of their recent accounts have raised fresh questions. Their testimonies at times contradict the official narrative and hint at the possibility of a second shooter. Could this second shooter have been a CIA operative? These unanswered questions, these gaps in the narrative, these inconsistencies, they all leave room for theories about CIA involvement. And until we have clear answers, until all the classified documents are made public, until the inconsistencies are resolved, these theories will continue to persist. These unanswered questions keep the theory of CIA involvement alive and thriving. As we've journeyed through the shadows, the theory of the CIA's involvement in JFK's assassination has only grown stronger. Throughout our exploration, we've revisited the enigmatic circumstances surrounding JFK's tragic end. We've delved into the CIA's covert operations, unmasking their penchant for secrecy and manipulation. We've uncovered evidence that, while circumstantial, undoubtedly points a finger at the agency. And we've asked questions that remain unanswered, further fueling the fire of suspicion. The CIA's shadowy operations during the Cold War era have been well documented. Their involvement in global affairs, from political assassinations to regime changes, is a historical fact. But their possible role in JFK's assassination takes this narrative to an entirely different level. It suggests a chilling scenario where the agency could take out one of their own, the President of the United States, if they deemed it necessary. This theory is not just a product of wild imaginations. It is driven by the inconsistencies and gaps in the official narrative. Lee Harvey Oswald, the man accused of the assassination, was in fact being monitored by the CIA. Yet, the agency failed to prevent the assassination. Furthermore, the Warren Commission's conclusion that Oswald acted alone has been widely criticized, with a majority of Americans believing there was a conspiracy. The delayed release of classified JFK assassination records further fuels this theory. If there's nothing to hide, why the delay? Is it merely due to pandemic-related challenges, as stated, or is there more to it? The withholding of information fosters a culture of mistrust and feeds the conspiracy theories. In the face of these compelling points, the theory of the CIA's involvement persists. It is not just a conspiracy theory, but a reflection of the deep-seated mistrust in the government and its institutions. While we may never know the full truth, the possibility of the CIA's involvement in JFK's assassination remains a compelling and unsettling theory.